Yay.
Yay.
We are
All right, yeah, we are
live.
here again with Arc to Arc, Soul Eater, Tokyo Ghoul, which we are ending, and PunPun. The other two will be ending soon.
Yes.
So,
Hang
all
on,
right.
it doesn't, wait. It doesn't show up on my end. Maybe it's private again.
Oh no.
No, it's public.
Huh?
Why the fuck does it not show up for me?
I see a black screen. Wait. Oh,
You
no,
do?
now I see it.
Oh. Maybe it just had some delay starting?
Whatever it is, I see it now.
Okay.
Okay, now I do too. Okay, yeah, it was just delayed. Fine.
Very weird, but yeah, okay, Soul Eater.
Mm-hmm.
Soul Eater, a small section of Soul Eater.
Yeah, we're doing just a tiny bit before we get into the big final arc. So this is like the prelude chapters. Yeah, let's get into it. We start with Krona in Moscow. Very cool.
Yeah, Moscow, Russia exists in this world, just like America and
Yeah.
other places.
Everywhere seems to exist, yeah. I guess. They're just like weird fantasy versions of whatever the country is. And turns...
Yeah, with stereotypes. Like
I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, what a weird like weapon. The guy's like a cannon man, and he like shoots his head around.
Yeah, it's like this weird, almost like not a maze, like
it's like a diving bell type.
Yeah, it's this weird thingy.
Yeah, old submarine thing, and yeah, the guy attaches it to his foot and kicks it around like fucking yo-yo or some shit.
Yeah,
very odd thing, but I mean, the center of the fight is really, it's more about Krona's weird powers. So
yeah. I mean, overall, like I like the whole stretch more than the previous one, even if it's just a short stretch.
Yeah, I like this final stretch more. This was like more artwork that I remembered too. Like there wasn't a lot of really good artwork I remembered from the last stretch, except for everything with like the power, the great one of power and stuff like that. That was like the stuff I remembered visually. This one I remembered this fight really well because there's lots of really cool like things with the black blood and Krona's abilities and stuff.
I had completely forgotten about this second.
It's the next chapter, but this like 2-page spread of the guy flying into the black blood was like seared into my brain from a young age as some of the coolest shit. Yeah, Krona doing so hot. Yeah.
or depending on perspective, they're doing very well.
They're doing amazingly. Yeah, but emotionally maybe not so. Yeah, Green.
I mean,
yeah. Did you like this fight?
Yeah. It seems like Krona is really pushing her luck lately. They're still doing this. Apparently they're gonna just never let up on the gender ambiguous pronoun thing. But it seems like she is nearing the end. I did enjoy her interactions with Medusa as it went along. I think Jaws is still right. I think Krona would have benefited from like a little more characterization in the middle of her turn onto the good guys for a little bit, but it's still good. Like it would hit a little harder if we'd spent a little time with like good Krona, like a little more.
That's true. Yeah.
It's still pretty good. I like that she's just like massacring civilians now.
Like entire city or town, whatever.
It is nice that Death finally gets to the point where he's just had enough of her shit.
Yeah, he's like, okay, this is an S tier ghoul.
Yeah,
we have to.
Yeah, if it's the last thing he does, and it very well might be, he's going to put Krona's ass on a mount. So okay,
and inspect it to make sure what gender the ass is, because that's order, is knowing what everyone's gender is.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
he's like, if you're not a woman now, you will be when I'm done with you.
No, why?
Oh,
Why did
wait.
you have to do
Spoilers.
that? Okay.
Spoilers for the other thing. Never mind.
Anyway, Teska, the Teska Tlipoka is alive. Yeah.
That's like I did not remember this, but I'm glad, given that I complained about this last time.
Yeah.
I mean, he dies again, but not really.
But then he's back again. Yeah, it's very strange. I was like, okay, this time he's really. Even I didn't remember that second one. I was like, okay, this time he's really dead, I guess. And then he's like, no, I'm in a mirror. Yeah. I guess he doesn't have his body anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, he cannot fight anymore. The one thing I found very funny is I need to disguise myself, and then he puts on the
put on the squirrel hats,
mouth.
and then he has like a Black Panther hat later. Yeah, they got a lot of. He still gets a lot of comedy out of like the Justin Teska relationship. Is very funny. Like when he shows up, he's like behind him, and the clown has to like tap Justin on the shoulder for him to turn around because he can't hear him. And he's like,
translates for him.
Yeah, the clown is like translating for him, and then he takes his headphones out and like, so you're finally well sensitive to me. He's like, no, I just want to hear your screams as you die. And then it's like, even then, your muffled mask is stupid. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff in that. I enjoy that fight quite a bit.
I kind of feel like the author felt like I don't know his name, Bear Guy, felt like Bear Guy didn't have quite enough to do. Because at the end, he has him realize what's up with the Kishin like 5 seconds before Maka does.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean,
to be fair,
finds the Kishin
he did say he knew where the Kishin was before the Maka chapter. He said it when he encountered Justin. Because Justin asks, so you know where the Kishin is? And he's like, I've got a pretty good idea. So already there we knew that he knew. We just thought he wasn't going to be able to tell because he had died. But then he didn't die.
Like the one chapter in the stretch which feels fairly unnecessary is the whole whale herding thing, because like the only
that's the one I had completely forgotten. Like I didn't remember anything from that.
I remembered it once I saw it again. Like, oh yeah, okay.
I didn't even remember it once I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? Maybe I skipped that like as a teenager somehow.
That really felt like one of the earlier chapters or middle chapters where they go on random adventures to pad things out.
The one worthwhile thing of that chapter was knowing Blackstar can stretch into the stratosphere with a scarf, and then when it got cut by the ballista was funny.
And the other one was just Maka figures out that the madness is more intense higher up, so like more tiny incidents of the Kishin being up there, which then is just revealed in the next chapter, so it makes no difference.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice, I don't know, very brief foreshadowing of that.
Yes.
Still slightly undercuts what the Bear Guy does. Like I don't know why he had to figure it out.
The funny thing, they've kind of alluded to it before, but it's very funny because this arc pretty much confirms it. It's that the Soul Eater Sun and Moon are like a lot closer objects than in our world. Like they're literally in the Earth's atmosphere. Like they're not like these. Like there's air up there. They're not celestial bodies. They're not in outer space or anything. They're just like these very large floating things that show up around, and so you can just like go to the moon, like just through the air. Like it would be close enough to affect the air close by. Yeah, exactly. Which is funny.
Finally,
it is cool.
The eternal spring or whatever shows it back up.
Oh yeah, the eternal spring from the train gets re-implemented into the blimp, and another blimp for Green. Green likes blimps. We've had blimps in Hunter x Hunter. We've had ones in Hunter x Hunter too lately. Rewatching that. Yeah, very cool. What else happens? Yeah, Soul goes fucking cuckoo bananas.
And then he just doesn't.
Like he has an internal conflict thing, I think that's fair.
It feels like very easy for him to...
I don't know why this is colored blue. This is another like panel I remembered very vividly. Like that's like one of the coolest ones. The eye like exploding out of him. Like it's like a really cool form. I like all his like cool moves he has as like
the sound scythe.
Yeah, it turns his the scythe into a keyboard. Yeah, and his scythe actually like cuts other weapons, which is interesting because it's got like black
She's so
blood.
strong.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get the ultimate Maka chop when he's done. I mean, that was some good internal Soul stuff. Like, I always like when they have Soul talk about his brother.
I like that too. It just seemed too easy. Like
it was a bit.
He seemed always in control, even when he's not on the outside.
Because he's a cool guy. He's in control. Sure. I like all that stuff a lot. I empathize and relate to a lot of that stuff that the ogre is talking about like not wanting to try because then you can have like an exit, being like, oh, I wasn't really trying and acting cool and stuff like that. Like that was some good analysis of Soul's character.
It's like the progression that we have been getting with his internal stuff.
Yeah, which is cool.
You also get you just picked it up. We get
the Kim funny. Yeah, I like all the Kim stuff. He's like, you guys are in the way. Then he's like picking them both up and carrying them around the fight. I mean, it is a funny like dynamic though, because like when they get there, there's those madness orbs, and they like foreshadow them that like the people who went to gather them are crazy, and then Stein is like, I'm not gonna go in there because you know what I'm like. And then Soul comes out and he starts playing music to make him crazy. I was like, oh my god! But then it was a funny joke where he got glomped by two girls and the guard is like, man, so jealous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of older guys mentioning the girls are cute in these chapters. Like the whaling guys did it too, which is funny. Just a curious
have to reiterate the obvious.
Well, yeah. But yeah, that stuff was all funny.
Yeah, and then I mean the best stuff is the Chrono stuff.
Yeah, that's the highlights of this stretch for sure. I remember
just this simple story about killing people.
Yeah, he does handle that really well because it's like the perfect ending to the Medusa thing, because she wouldn't have really been that necessary going forward, and it's a good like way to kind of level up Krona and stop all of Krona's actions just being, like her answering to commands and being like ordered around. Now she's moving out. She's on her own. She's going into the world. All it took. Yeah. I mean, what is that, Green? Do you remember when we watched Golden Kamui? And Ogata says to the guy, killing your parents is an initiation, right? To becoming an adult.
Part of growing up.
It's murdering your parents. That's like one of the funniest. And that was like that. Also, I love that, I love that what snaps it is her finally getting some love as a genius, because it's like, who are you? What have you done with my mom?
I mean,
that's so good. And she makes I was gonna say, Medusa makes the same face when she's on the floor that she made for Stein when Stein stabs her in the head. She's like grinning maniacally, being like, I love you. And she loved Stein pretty much also for the same reasons, like, you're so fucking cool and crazy, murder me.
I mean, I totally understand that. I've had that with people where you're so used to them just being just like a mean, negligent piece of shit. Then all of a sudden, like the one time you have something they want, they suddenly quit doing it, and you're like, wait a second, it was voluntary that whole time? I thought you were just like that. Like it was a choice?
Crowd gets to use her, like, I don't know how to deal with that catchphrase, which is it's like the perfect capper to that. They bring back the bunny thing from
nice
way
art
earlier.
style with pigments.
There was.
I really like the little segment of Chibi Rona spiraling into the dark.
He does like I didn't check if it was like that, but it reminded me of like stuff with like Fibonacci sequence ratios, sort of.
Yeah,
like it looks a lot like that. All that stuff. I really like. I like a lot of the artwork in the stretch. Actually, it's more experimental than the last stretch. Everything inside the book. Speaking of the book, we do get Noah, another form of Noah.
Version of Noah.
Yeah, Wrath. I guess last version was agreed.
Yeah.
Very FMA. But yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm happy Gopher gets to have a friend. Of sorts.
Just someone to order him around again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Golden Kamui, this whole time Gopher has been reminding me of someone, and I realize he reminds me of like the Satsuman guy, whatever he is, the guy, the tan guy with the sword from Golden Kamui. Sumatran, the Sumatran guy from Golden
he might
Kamui.
be Satsuman actually. It's one of those two.
Oh,
no,
whatever.
I think you're right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The young guy with the tan skin who shrieks and has a sword.
Yes.
Yeah. The guy who just desperately needs like a father figure to glob onto and will take what he can get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy's cool. Koto, I think his name was.
Right.
Yes, that's cool. Justin being perpetually on fire is cool.
That's a little strange. I mean, he got hit by the attack, but it's like.
But it persists for the rest of the manga. I think it's just the flames were that strong. Like the beam was so strong, it's just like has like an eternal fire effect on it. He doesn't seem to mind that much. Yeah, he's just like
Fujimoto stole this.
Yeah, like a lot of things in Still Leader.
But yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there's not that much more to say. I mean, this was a short stretch. We got a bunch of new characters at the end.
A few death saves that showed up. Like,
a few. Meister shows up with his partner was called like Clay Sizemore. Yeah, like like the guy who's gonna turn into a greatsword is called Clay Sizemore. Okay.
The one thing I wanted to point out, because I found it oddly, like a little bit odd, was when the thing with Shinigami or his group attacking Baghdad. Like, okay, now we do Iraq War.
Yeah, that was odd. Yeah, and Shinigami is just like, I really thought he'd be there. It's like, well, based on what?
I mean, it happened like in Pluto. It's the same thing. So maybe that was just very in the zeitgeist at the time. I don't know if that was at the same time, but for some
these
strange
chapters
reason,
would have been coming out around, I want to say like 2012, 2013, probably.
Okay, no, that's like probably way later. I thought it was earlier.
No. Anyway, because the Still Leader starts. When does it start? Like 2005, 2004, I think. So, I guess maybe it's not that late. Maybe this is more 2010. Yeah.
No, still.
But yeah, the anime came out in 2008, and this stuff wasn't out yet, so it wasn't like 2008 or anything. Also, the blimp says 42. I wonder if that's the meaning of life.
Oh no, that's Shini.
Oh, duh. Oh, I'm so stupid. Of course.
Wow, you got that quick.
Yeah.
They do that in like the first chapter with his phone number.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, I noticed like the 666 on it. I didn't notice the Shini. That's clever. Okay.
They add like another number, so it's like Shini something, but yeah, they use it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, couple good things with. Well, one thing that's it's funny that they're just coming out and saying Black Star is the strongest character now.
Yeah, that was fun.
and even Death the Kid admits it and says, "Yeah, I'll get stronger than him again later, but right now he's definitely stronger."
Yes.
Yeah. That's like another cool stuff.
Death the Kid had interesting stuff too, where he's like his stay in the book. Yeah, and his stay in the book has like affected him kind of, where he doesn't see the world as black and white as he did before, but they still have a little capper to that at the end when he like fist bumps Soul. He needs one on the other hand, where it's like, he obviously he's become a bit more conflicted, but he still is who he is. And another highlight I forgot to mention was like we get a great scene between Maka and her dad. I really like that actually. It gives her the ring. She says thanks. They give a hug, and he's like going on a dangerous mission.
Cordial that they have been with each other. Is that a correct word?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm really done with Maka being pissy with her dad. Just end that.
She is being nicer to him now. Yeah, we got a few people coming back. We got a couple scenes with Mari, which was nice, and we had little foreshadowing with Stein getting all excited for going to the moon, and he's turning his brain crank already. It's like, yeah. let's send Stein to the source of the madness. What could go wrong?
I mean, I don't remember much of how that goes, so I'm kind of in the dark.
Well, we'll see next week. Much else happened? Not really. There was a
the team is split. Like one section goes, the other one goes after Krona. Right. Like when Maka is looking for Krona, it's like interesting that she doesn't immediately find that she has to be reminded of it.
It was funny because in the big 2-page spread where they show her searching everywhere, there is an image which is of a church, and I assume like this one here in the bottom left. When I assumed that was the church. This one here. Because it has like a very similar window, and so I thought they'd already covered that, because here they cover like a bunch of stuff we've seen it for. Like there's Excalibur's cave, the island, the marsh where they went with Medusa, where they trained the flying. So I was like, okay, that was the Krona Church. She thought of that, but then no. Hey, they used he used Excalibur's cave twice. What the hell? God damn it, Okubo, you lazy bastard.
And he has a way of breaking into places.
Yeah.
That's funny that Abon mentions Excalibur in like one little bubble, and it's got like a little doodle of Excalibur in it. He's like, that fool at least understands or something. Abon's just being all quizzical. That was also funny that it turns out that actually was the real Abon. Like when Deathagate saw him and said Abon in that chapter, someone said to him, "Don't worry, it's just an illusion, like everything else here." But actually, that Abon was just hiding in plain sight by pretending to be like a memory, and he just like walks around the memory island. Yeah, and the tornado is funny.
Abon is the one of knowledge, then, right?
Yeah, Abon is the madness of knowledge. And his index seems to have like a mind of its own and be like a minor villain, which is odd. But yeah, the great ones are the 5 that they mentioned. They said there were 8, and then 3 of them have been. I forget if they died or if Kishin ate them specifically, like or just murdered them. And he ate his weapon, Vajra. But yeah, the 5 we know of are Shinigami, Excalibur, the Great One of Power doesn't have a name, Abon, and the Kishin are the madnesses of order, power, anger, knowledge, and madness, and fear. Sorry, and fear. Fear is Kishin's one, and the other 3 we don't know what the fuck they were, but yes. That stuff is cool. Now we're excited. We're going to the moon. We ended this on the famous the page. I don't know if it's famous, but the cool page of Shinigami going to the moon. Yeah.
It's like crypto. It was always about crypto. It's going to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going. We're like the apes. We're going to the moon. Also, when Maka looks up at the moon, a drop of blood falls on her face, which is a cute touch. Because the moon is always bleeding out of its mouth.
Oh, it's like menstruation.
Oh. Oh no. That's actually not that crazy considering the ending, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But okay.
The ending I remember is boobs,
but man, who cares about Soul Eater? Because we finished Tokyo Ghoul. The whole thing. There is no such thing as a sequel or anything of the sort. This is the end.
Nothing ever ends.
Nothing ever ends.
Yeah. Jaws, why don't you give us some introduction and thoughts? Because is this your favorite ending then, since it's your favorite manga?
It is definitely up there as one of my favorite endings to a manga or to a story anyway. Because quote unquote spoilers, it's a tragic end. It's not a happy end, and I am a person who generally prefers not happy endings. And I read this also in a time where this was even more true. Like I've like changed a little bit since then, where I appreciate happy endings more than I did. But at that time, it was definitely even better for me, and I loved it. Like at the point I finished it, I didn't know that there was going to be a sequel. Like I figured it out, I don't know, like maybe 3 weeks later, and the timing was perfect because only like 3 chapters of Re had been come out at that time, so I got to read it weekly from there. So it was like perfect timing. But I was completely happy with this ending, even if we hadn't gotten anything else.
Yeah, it would be a cool ending, because it's like, yeah, it is cool, just the idea of like stuff that you wouldn't expect, you know, like from the story. Like I wouldn't expect certain characters to die for them to just actually die. It's cool. Yeah. But yeah, we start with a giraffe, as all great stories do.
Very well drawn giraffe.
Yeah, this was yeah, we got Juzu's backstory, which was like, this is like a minor thing that like bugs me a tiny bit in Tokyo Ghoul with the story, is that it's incredibly like weirdly insular, where it turns out that like a lot of like the connecting threads and answers to a lot of the questions are just things that were already in the story. Like, more often than not, someone's like backstory and characters are connected to the other elements of the story that we already established. You know,
that's
like,
what I like.
But that just seems like oddly coincidental. It's like he ends up working for this cafe, and it turns out that the boss of the cafe is also like involved with this like the leader of this like group. The Suzuya would be connected to the restaurant that Kaneki coincidentally went to.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure if that happens at that restaurant. Because
they call him a scrapper, so it's definitely like the same sort of establishment.
It's the same thing, but not the same place.
Okay, that's a little less. But like, I've had this annoyance ever since like suddenly Rize and the Doctor became incredibly important, and then it turns out the Doctor is connected to Aogiri, which are connected to the, like everything is like connected in a way that's like. Just like in real life, when characters and people show up, they don't all have like the same backstory. Sometimes just people come from different backgrounds and they come into someone's life. You know, they're not like all like, oh yeah, it turns out we all know each other back in the day. You know,
I know what. For me, that's a plus. Something I really love about stories of things connect.
It just makes this thing feel like, it makes like the world feel smaller to me. Like it makes it like they mention all these wards in the rest of Japan, and I'm not saying I want the story to like address all those things, but it makes it seem like Tokyo Ghoul exists in the universe of like a few like 5 buildings that exist within the same town, and everyone is from around there, and they're all like connected to each other. Yeah, that's all. That's a minor thing. It just is silly. But yeah, but who cares, man? The artwork in these chapters, I was fucking floored. I was fucking frothing at the mouth.
Yeah.
I was rolling on the floor, dying. I've never had something go like this. Might be the most drastic like improvement of someone's drawing I've ever seen in the course of a manga. Because like I've had plenty of manga where I think it improves, or rarely sometimes gets worse, but like it's usually like goes from like bad to okay, or goes like from pretty good to really good. But I've never had one go from bad to amazing. Like and it's not even that many chapters. Like it's pretty fucking, yeah, like bewildering, to be honest. It went from the worst looking manga that I'd ever read to having some of my favorite like pages and drawings. I don't know, because I never read Attack on Titan. I've just leafed through it. Like that, I'm not saying Tokyo Ghoul is like the worst drawn manga ever at the start. I'm just saying manga that I have actively sat down and continuously read. It was the one that had like the weakest art style for those first few chapters. But now it's like every page I was like saving every page. I was being like, yes, more of this. Oh my god, the drawings are so good.
I mean, this is out of the entire stretch of Tokyo Ghoul, not just the first manga, but the second one as well. This is probably art-wise and like layout-wise my favorite stretch.
Yeah. When I saw that, when I started this and I saw that drawing of Amon, I was like, hot.
Which one?
Damn.
The
like
cover page?
Or, yeah, the cover page. The cover page where he's like got the shawl on his head and he's holding the cross.
One of the guts references once again.
Yeah, but it's like so it's like employing so many techniques he just like has acquired that it was so cool. I was like, oh yeah, he's really come to terms with like being really comfortable with this. He like, and for the last fight, he like breaks out the brush pen in like almost every panel, and I'm all there. I'm for all. I'm there for all of it. Like, it's like most attacks or even like cool facial expressions have like a cool like brush outline or cool like brush effects around them. I was like, yes, he's become so fucking so adept. It's so cool.
Yeah. I think the rest that's to come is not as good looking as this. Like, this is the perfect stretch art wise.
I
like
will
his
be the judge
and
of it.
yeah, you will be. His paneling and his layout for this stretch is also like way better than anything else.
Dude, the compositions were fucking great. Like there was like many of them. I don't know why, but like the last arc gave me a very like FromSoft vibe. Like like him happening upon is it Arima? Arima, and like it's like this perfect layout, and it's like this. He's like in a field of like flowers with these big pillars, and then there's a bunch of corpses, and it's like holding his weapon. It's like this is just like Bloodborne, like coming upon a boss fight, like standing there. And then or when the real owl shows up, he's like the fucking orphan of Kos, like jumps through. And as soon as that like chapter started, and for the rest of the chapters, I just had the Bloodborne, the Old Hunters DLC. Like soundtrack playing, and it was fucking incredibly fitting. Like when the reprise comes in.
Ishida likes Nier. He drew stuff for the Nier.
It does seem very Nier too. That's true. Like the flowers and the more industrial thing, even of it. I also got like loads of like Blame influence. Like he really went really hard for that.
Mentioned that earlier. And the voice actor for 9S is also the same one who voices Kaneki in the anime.
They do kind of look alike too, because they both have like a white bob cut sort of thing, and they eye patches, that's true. And they're both wusses. No, I really wish I could just find chapters instead of fighting Ri every time, but okay. Fucking the demon ape finally did something. They fucking hinted at it for the whole time. Keep talking about the demon ape has to watch the restaurant. The demon ape better make a cup of coffee now. but man, the demon ape was pretty cool in the end. I
like his design.
Did the dog lady show up at any point before? Because I don't remember her at all.
She's like the waitress, like one of the waitresses. She takes part in the Arogiri section where she scouts, basically, where she just informs people on what's going on in the buildings.
I think I vaguely remember that. No, okay, because when she showed up, I wasn't sure if she was just like a character they were just implying had always been around, and I was like, oh, they just need someone else to help out. But okay, that's fine.
Oh, she's very in the background.
I wondered where the girl who's like infatuated with Kaneki was. And at the end of the stretch, I knew. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Didn't see that coming.
It's about that. It's funny. Like an arc back when Kaneki goes to like share some information or trade some information with Itari. Like the information he trades is. Double S ranked ghouls that were broken out of the prison by the Arogiri attack. And Itari says, there's a clown on here. And if you look closely on that page, you can see one of the people that were broken out was Chachi, and the other one is Roma, but with long hair.
That's cool. Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does have a lot of eye for detail. You don't see that often in manga. Like I definitely, I see him like planting little clues and not being shy about just
I'm going to mention this.
It was very like True Detective or something, where it's like he will just have like people, like characters who will be important later or were important earlier. Just like it's like he doesn't disguise it at all. Like he just puts them in the panel, and it's up to you to like pay attention or not. Sometimes it can be hard to tell with his art style.
Like the famous face has two hidden ones, and one I didn't even know. Like the one was spelled out in the translator's note, which I hadn't seen before. So I was one that I missed.
It's 109 men's because he is 109 men. No.
I mean, the one I knew, like if you look at the collar of Kaneki, you see a 1 and a 2, like the number 12, which gets assigned to Kaneki all the time. Like Ishida hides tarot card numbers.
I noticed what that thing on his back. It says, yeah. I know. I wonder what that thing on his back really was.
It says die, and that's the one I didn't know. That was like spelled out in the translator's notice.
Okay.
It's apparently like
that's weird. Why does he do that?
Well, to foreshadow stuff, I guess.
He just like. I mean,
foreshadow 12.
I'm cool with
that.
No,
the 12 is the he uses the major arcana. 12 is the hanged man, which just symbolizes a shift in perspective.
They referenced something about tarot. Yeah, the guy said. Maybe this would just be being crazy, but when the like I never remember any of the names. I'm sorry, but like the shitty investigator who's like scared to die, and writes I don't want to die on it. Yeah, that guy. When he runs off, he's like I'm off to play the part of the fool, and I was like that's
he does say that.
Yeah, that's like a tarot.
He like the number he's associated with, which you can see when he's crying, is 15. Like the tears on his face form the number 15, which is the card. The devil.
That's awesome. Like I could tell there was like stuff like that happening because I would see stuff like that and be like, I wonder what that is. But I was like, I'm not going to look anything up, obviously. But like,
I think it starts like around the Arugiri arc, and it isn't present before that. But
at
since
some
then,
points, I need to like find
that.
like a big page on the internet, like a giant Reddit post, being like every hidden thing in Tokyo Ghoul, and just read through it and go, oh.
Yeah. Number 57, the artist's talent.
That was very well hidden. True. Man, I love this stretch of chapters. I don't have bad things to say. Like so many characters got like really good resolutions in this, and so many hype moments. Yeah. Sorry, Green. What are you gonna say?
I wasn't. I was really not expecting like a huge assault. Violent end to this manga.
It was like
based on the
end of FMA Brotherhood.
I never would have expected that.
Yeah, it's not really.
I'm also really glad it didn't last 100 chapters.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't a giant
but...
war arc or anything. It was just like the biggest big assault. Yeah, arc. Yes.
It was kind of strange how many of the elements. It really does feel like end of part 1 in ways. Like it introduces a lot of stuff very late in the game. Like everything with like Suzu, you, whatever his name is. Everything with our favorite eunuch is
they're
revealing his character very late in the game. So I assume he does more stuff later.
Not just that. Like, even if like what Jaws was saying that it was going to be like a downer ending, then there was really no reason to just like show like Amon's corpse at least or stuff like that. Like I get keeping Kaneki a bit vague because that leaves like a cool open end for the last page where she's like I trust that he'll show up again. You know, that's one thing. But like the other characters they also mentioned dying, it's very kind of strange unless you think that there's a sequel series where it's just like being like. Are they dead? I mean, we think so. There's like discrepancies in the numbers, but shrug. Yeah,
a lot of lost limbs in this as well.
Oh yeah,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love that page when Suzuya gets the hit on Owl's shoulder. And then later, then like a couple pages later, you see what that was like. I went back and scrolled up, and it's like, yeah, he did put the little detail in the artwork, like the tiny Suzuya off in the distance is already missing his leg when they do that exchange of blows, like, and he lands awkwardly, and you're like, oh shit, like, yeah, of course, if you're like attacking someone who's swinging a bunch of fucking blades around, and you're just a fucking person, it's like, yeah, that happens all the fucking time to investigators. Like, they're not, unless you have the super armor. Like, you're just, even if you have a really strong fucking kinkai or whatever, like, you're gonna get hurt. And they do, yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, but like, Kuroiwa also, like, loses a hand.
Yeah, the guy that was like so fucked up when the real owl chops the other guy's same leg and looks back and says same, and it's like the darkest face. Yeah, then then the guy's just like hospitalized. They're definitely, he's not coming out of the coma, bros. And there's like that group shot of like all the investigators. They're all like missing limbs together and just standing in the doorway being like, yeah. Man, that was fucked.
Yeah, it's not you don't regenerate. Not if you're not a ghoul.
Yeah, I kept expecting there to be something like Amon. I kept expecting like him to like pick it up and them to be like, oh, the armor can fuse your arm back or something, or like some weird kinke that lets you regrow it or something. And then no, it's just like on the floor, fuck. Yeah. And both of them during that fight is funny because they both don't want to kill the other one, so they're both like, no, please don't die, guy I'm attacking with immortal force. Yeah, I mean, I know they went a little bit crazy in the fight, but you know.
Yeah. Amon was just having like go.
No, you go.
Amon was just having like his own spiritual crisis that no one else knew about.
Not even Aniki.
That's so fucked
Everyone
up.
In
he
the
like
fight
thinks
was, like,
back on his
their own
father.
pain,
That seems to happen a lot with with these fights. Is like ghouls and he really likes to zero on what the ghouls and investigators are thinking about. Like even minor people like that dog lady, like in her fight, she's like, you get her inner monologue where she's worrying about like, oh, what was the point of all this? You know, if I can just die here, this will be cool and stuff like that. And then she's having like a monologue about Kaneki when she's seeing him fight and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, he really is like, he still has like these really fucking cool fight scenes that have like some of the best like coolest looking pages I've ever seen, but he also at the same time is interested in what they're thinking about. He's not just interested in like how the actual fight is progressing. He's like, how are the emotional fluctuating in these people. Yeah,
he does both. Fuck, what was I about to say?
I'll say out of everyone here, I feel like Amon and Manager San probably had the most going on, just in terms of I guess you can argue Kaneki, but
Kaneki had a bit.
They were just having weird internal battles that like everyone else was in parallel to. Feel bad for Manager at the end where Real Owl like takes his mask off. It's like has to deal with this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manager's backstory is very intense.
I really thought the Owl Jr. was gonna eat him and get like some crazy new power, but no, just like she, I guess, just put him in or is it a boy? In their gob and then spat him out.
Yeah, Tonbut him.
Yeah.
Since I'm going to mention this because when I first read the manga, I didn't initially clue in because you cannot see the colors of hair of people and stuff like that. But if anyone has missed it, like I did back then, the one-eyed owl is Takasugi Sen, is the author.
I thought they had the same name, but I was like slightly confused by that.
Takasugi Sen is Yoshimura Eto.
Okay. Okay.
Because I also didn't realize that on first reading it.
That makes sense. Yeah, he can be a bit, because he like, the thing is like his art style gets better, but he like also like changes how he draws. Like there are many times when various different points of the story where his best friend Hige, whatever, what is he called? Hide. When Hide shows up at various points, I've always been like, who is that guy? Because he keeps changing how he looks. Yeah, I'd be like, oh right, that's his friend. Like he does. Yeah, that's a thing like comic artists have to like. That's always like an issue you always have to think about. Like I totally understand like letting that slip by occasionally, because it is really hard to just keep consistently drawing the same characters the same way so that you can always tell who it is. Yeah. Speaking of funny panels, I just wanted to point out this one where the speech bubble is this guy's like exhale and it goes through and he goes, go back to your mountain monkey, and he goes, this is my mountain. I really like
a good one. Or there's one when Tatara shows up where his code is the panel for what's beneath him, or below. That's also really good. Right, and I was wondering, like, what are you thinking about Yoshimura's little monologue before he starts fighting, where he's talking about life and evil and taking? That was like very Muramasa.
Which one's Yoshimura?
I literally. the big manager. I thought to mention that was incredibly Muramasa, like being like all like there is no like killing that isn't like evil.
Yeah, killing is evil.
Yeah, like because you're always taking something. Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah,
one of the best arts as well.
And,
like those two
and he brings it back at the end with like what it's like throughout the final chapter. There's like little like asides that are reiterating this over and over. Yeah,
we can only eat, we can only take, we can only whatever. Like we use different ways.
I vibe with all that. For sure.
Yeah, the one my translation, it had like a sequential thing where it's like to eat is to kill or to eat is to live.
Yes. Yeah, that's all cool. Yes. I really like
it was good.
Tsukiyama's finale. Like I know we always say Hisoka thing, but that was a very like unique thing where I expect there to be like some big fight or Kaneki has to like slice his head off or something, but then it was just like this fun tantrum and he's on the floor like crying and Kaneki is never like he's saying like I want to eat you all this time, my plan was to eat you, and Kaneki is never like oh, I knew it. He just always just acts like he's a friend and be like, yeah, I appreciate you're worried about me, dude. Like that was, I love that moment. Yeah, and that whole conversation with Nishi Joe, everyday life. with Nishiki was also great. Like that panel of him turning around and be like, I would be crazy not to fuck my girlfriend one last time before I leave, right? Like. Man, it really did a good job, like, making me really like a lot of these characters that I was pretty, like, meh on at the start of the story. Like, I really like Toka now, I like him, I like Hinami, I like fucking Gourmet, I even like the Demon Ape.
The Demon Ape. Yeah, like, but with the Tsukiyama scene, like, it becomes obvious that he cares more about Kaneki than just wanting to eat.
Like, because it's... But it's like hyping himself up almost. He's like acting like he's gonna be like, well, if you're gonna die, I'm gonna attack you right now and try and kill you and eat you. But he doesn't. He's just like fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't want to die anymore. Yeah, he just realizes it's suicidal to go down there and tries to stop them.
Very, very odd path towards friendship.
It is. Yeah, sending them to the murder restaurants and
this is why they teach you this is why they teach you not to play with your food, because you might end up walking shoulder to shoulder with them into certain death one day. So
that's like the cat that has like a baby chick sitting on it or something.
Those birds that sit on crocodiles' heads and clean.
What are your thoughts about... Oh yeah.
No.
Well, I was gonna say Kaneki's whole thing where he's like thinking about his mom, and Kaneki gets a whole. He kind of reverts somewhat towards how he was early in the story a little bit. Yeah, like he kind of goes back and forth because he goes really hard in the badass direction, then he like gradually settles back into kind of like the middle ground between them.
Yeah.
Which I guess is how things often go. Like when you change a lot, you get really extreme for a while, then you're still that way sort of, but you mellow out a bit.
It changed him, but it didn't change him completely, or not for the time being.
when he's thinking about like, oh, I'm like mom, like I just can't say no to helping people, and I don't take care of myself and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just kind of stuck in my head because like there's a lot of that going around, I guess. Because then I got this thing like, okay, so he's doing it this way. PunPun's doing it his way. Is this healthier than what PunPun does?
Krona's doing it their way. No, but the chapter didn't need to spell it out. That was a bit like, I get that he does that for like the rest of the readers, but like kind of because when he's talking about how he thinks actually that was just a selfish act on his own part to be kind or nice because it's actually like a self-preservation thing for not wanting to be alone. Then he says like, oh, Toka was right, and I was like mildly annoyed because I had just like a couple pages earlier been like, oh, that's like what Toka said to him. I'm so smart. And then the author is like, yes, this is what Toka said. I was like, don't spell it out, dude. I got it.
It is crazy that like with Toka, they just looked at this big fight and said, you know what, no girls allowed.
I was very happy that she wasn't in it. Like I was happy that not every fucking ghoul participated. It would be a clusterfuck, and I'm very happy that a lot of them were like survival instinct, or other people told them to stop other people from entering in survival instinct, because it's like, yeah, this is like a fucking insane fight where everyone's getting dead or their limbs flying off. So I was like, yeah, this is realistic. Again, like it's not realistic for everyone to just be like a hunky dory, let's all join the fucking fights. Like there are 300 doves crashing down on this restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the conclusion to that character arc of Toka, where her whole point is that she has this massive abandonment issues where everyone just leaves her behind and dies, and
that was really
now
good.
she wants to go, and it would kill her, and now she has
that was a gorgeous page with like that scribbly drawing of her just holding her brother's hand as they walk away crying from when their dad died.
Really good. And I love the one where she sits in front of the TV, which looks like
with a cool shadow, like projecting
really cool.
out. Yeah, all that stuff was really moving.
There's a lot of good art. There
is. Even this one with Suzuya's crazy face, I love.
This one looks a little weird, but
I like that a lot. Like I like these like really exaggerated expressions.
Did you think about Suzuya's backstory and his character arc?
You know, I felt partially vindicated because I kept being like, man, Suzuya is so cute, they're a girl to me. And then I was like, hey, the mom thought the same thing. And then a couple panels later, I was like, oh no. They thought it a bit too hard. Yeah,
like a few months
when I saw that, I was like, oh god, that's the page. I was like, I had no idea. It was an effective story. It explained a lot of stuff. I really like the relationship between Suzuya
and Shinohara.
And Shinohara was very cool. I mean, Shinohara has like slowly crept to becoming like
he's like the dad figure.
Like one of the funnest guys.
On the Google Images can you click on the one with the demon ape and the black dog to the right?
Like this one with their cool things in their... Yeah, I noticed in their hair she had the dog.
Yeah, in their hair she has like the texture of her mask, and he has it on his shirt.
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and I mean this in a perfectly good way, where he was just like flexing, and I was all there for it. He was just like being like, look at all the idea. I'm just like, he's fucking bountiful with ideas in this part. It's just like he had so much creative energy, he just couldn't like fucking expend it all on every page. Like he was being like experimental and extremely skilled at having all these different compositions. That fight, obviously, that was like is going to be a highlight anyway, because it was a sick fight between Kaneki and Amon. But like, I love that they turn into like these fucking silhouette creatures almost, because that's like something I always like doing in my like when I have drawings and stuff and people like use powers. I really love that thing of like them turning almost into like a different shape of creature, and they do with like the thing, like he has like the centipede pointy mask, that's this pointy, I mean, again, it's the berserker armor, but it's like
it's berserker armor.
but it's still whatever, like Mira doesn't have copyright on every shape. The having like a cool pointy medieval armor mask is very cool, and like they have that, I don't know where it is, but it's like the 2-page spread where they're like facing each other with the two beaks like pointing toward each other, and I was like, fuck, that looks fucking cool. Even that one when he sliced the arm and he has like the fucking creepy smile, like it's just peak. I can't say enough good things.
Peak. Like continuing with Suzuya, I like the slight recontextualization that he's not a psychopath but a sociopath, that he became this way because of the way he grew up, and we see the stuff in the school days where he was blamed for the killings of
it's getting pinned with a lot of stuff for being a weirdo.
Is, by the way, that's the guy who tortured Jason and then was tortured by Jason.
Oh, no way. I was wondering who that guy was.
Three of them, like he and Jason and Kaneki all have the finger crack, which is like the thing that got passed down the line.
Oh my god! Oh yeah! Holy shit! Okay, that's pretty amazing attention to detail, I gotta say. That's like tough to do without calling so much attention to it. Like not having another character being like, "Hey, you crack your finger like Jason did," or something like that's. I would have a hard time helping myself. I mean, I'd have fun telling people like in voice calls about it if I did something like that, or when I do. But yeah, but that's good. Fuck, that's cool. Yeah, they're right. They do that weird thing where they like move their middle finger over their index, or like their when he does sort of that thing with his thumb. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool that he like saw Jason in his like hallucinations. Like there was like a cool page where it's like him sitting in a chair and Rize and Jason are like behind him, and then in the sewer he saw them like coming out of the floor, and Jason had like centipedes coming out of his eyes. Yeah, and I was like,
this is like more analysis stuff, but Tokyo Ghoul as a whole is very inspired by Jungian psychology. So if you want to go like really deep, you can say like
psychology. Say if you eat someone,
Jason is his animus and stuff like that. But that's like.
Is he the one that said when you stare into the abyss, or is that Nietzsche or someone else?
That's Nietzsche. That's Nietzsche.
That's Nietzsche. Okay.
Jung was the
Young is the one.
The Ubermensch, right?
Well, yeah, that's Nietzsche again. But Young is to put it very quickly. A way of thinking about it is like you probably know some about Freud.
Yes.
Jung is very similar to Freud, except where Freud fixated on like physical drives, Jung basically puts like story and parts of the personality in that place. So they're both very like, the subconscious drives you, but with Jung it's more stories and symbols, and with Freud it's more like hunger and sex.
The Jungian archetypes or something.
Persona 4, right? That's Jungian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Japanese seem to like Jung for some reason, which I agree with. I also like Jung.
I've only read a very small spattering of Jung. He's someone that I've wanted to have read for a long time, but I've only read Modern Man in Search of a Soul.
And I've read like his most obscure thing, which is his Red Book, but
Isn't the Red Book the massive compilation of like a bunch of stuff?
It's like his sort of dream art book thingy, where he like just drew and wrote the stuff he experienced in like dream and trance and stuff. It's like this really weird thing. It's not like one of his essay stuff. It's more weirder than that.
And I have never read any philosophy thing. You'll be amazed to find out.
You don't have to, but it's interesting.
I mean, I would like to. I just have not done it.
Right. Let's get to like Arima, for instance, like the way that fight is handled and that confrontation is handled, because I also really love it. That's like my favorite part, probably in
this
section.
That was definitely up there for me as well.
Like both the philosophical stuff, or not philosophical, like the poetic. They did a good
job. He did a good job handling Arima, because Arima, I was kind of worried. Because like we haven't seen that much of them, and it's always been like when someone is like hyped up as like the biggest badass, you're like, okay, well, how are they gonna handle this? We know like their backstory of fighting Owl and being very cool, and we saw there was like a bit of like something like how Arima never writes anything on his wills because he just sits down and can't think of anything. So we'd had like little hints, but actually seeing him and like. He was a cool character. I like how he's like at the same time like. Well, first of all, we have that great page with like his face here and stuff, and kind of comments on him being like beautiful, kind of, and then he's like murdered all these like hundreds of ghouls, and is like murdering Kaneki horribly, but he is very like calm and detached about it, and is also like kind of carrying some normal conversation where he's like he quotes poetry, and he's like, that's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, you must be Kaneki. Very, very nice to meet you. Stabs him in the eye. Yeah.
He starts off the fight with that, which is also like really funny.
Yeah, that was great too. That I was expecting this like gigantic, because like we've seen Kaneki be like super strong, and now he's eaten his best friend, and we're like, oh, he's gonna be so overpowered, he's gonna turn into the centipede form, it's gonna be like this big fight. But it's just like, no, he's just completely outclassed Arima just like, I guess that makes sense because Arima beat the strongest ghoul we know of, basically. Arima just like fucking annihilates him instantly, and then when you think he might like recover because he's like having a second wind, no, he's just like, no, sorry, no.
Nope.
And he's like, his brain is melted and he's talking nonsense. He's just saying like,
he's just talking so much nonsense talking in that one because his brain is
so funny. Like, I was like,
that page to the left, which is just 2/3 just screaming.
Oh yes, yeah, this one.
Yeah. It's just fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's,
as I said,
there was a lot of fucked up stuff. It was cool.
Yeah. Also, yeah, just Kaneki crawling to the sewers after he's injured and also just shouting.
Yeah, that was a great shot of Suzuya too. So cool with all the hair. I had forgotten.
Oh, yeah, that one way. Yeah, that's like also an amazing one.
I had totally forgotten if the famous meme thing of Kaneki like looking defeated was from here or from Ri, so I was expecting it to appear here because I thought maybe it was in the original. I was like waiting for that moment, but then it didn't happen. I was like, I guess it's in Ri.
No, it's in Ri.
Okay, that makes sense. Fuck, I was gonna mention something and now I'm stupid. Same. Haha. Fuck, I was going to say that I am stupid. Oh, I was gonna say, even the silly characters that got introduced this arc were pretty fun. Like, the mustachioed guy had, like, some cool lines. Like, he just seems like some chump who's, like, meant to be killed by Kaneki to save the demon ape or something, but instead he like shows up when Suzy is fighting with one leg and is like grabs him, is like you're well, his assistant actually grabs, but whatever. He's like, you're the model of an investigator. Or the other guy who looks like blame version of Vash the Stampede. It was a fucked up mouth. Yeah, he has like a fun like moment afterwards where they're like questioning the ethics of maybe having accidentally killed that old lady as collateral, and then he keeps being like, do you know how long I've waited for this moment? And he keeps getting like interrupted, and he's like really angry. And they're like, no, we should keep her for interrogation. That like a cool line about there being not being an afterlife for ghouls or for humans was very cool. I appreciate those new funny guys.
Fights the one-eyed owl with only one of his quinke, and he still drives off.
Yeah, he's very strong. Oh, that page was so cool with the corkscrews.
Yeah. It's like weird that it's like a little bit irritating because they only look that way in this one page, and when they when finishes of Kaneki, the tentacles look different.
That's
so
artistic. I guess artists like to draw things how they wanted to draw them in that moment, and then not do it again. It's also fun that it's also good how like the whole time there has been a lot of focus on Kaneki's. Another awesome panel on Kaneki's eyes has always been a big thing, and that he pokes both his eyes out is a fitting end because he's like, oh, my eyes are different. Well, now they're the same because you don't have any. That was surprisingly like gruesome. Like, you don't, even in a lot of like seinen stuff, you don't see someone stumble around with like a spear through their eye, like pouring blood like that. That was cool. That was a good face he made. That was almost. He's kind of like Griffith-ish in a way, where he's like got the, because he doesn't. I thought I remembered him having like darker hair earlier, and I wasn't sure if this was like is this lighting on his head kind of.
You look at, because he didn't start out with white hair, like his younger
like
version.
It looked more like a Japanese. I remembered him as just like a kind of like a Japanese honor student looking guy with like darkish hair. But whatever, I don't care. But yeah, he kind of reminds me of Griffith a bit. That was a great page with like the chrysanthemum fields and stuff.
The checkerboard pattern returns.
And it's like on the clown's shirt.
That is right. Yeah, it's like a pattern that shows up all the time. I think the first time you see it is in the torture room, where it's the floor.
I mean, yeah, that was a odd little thing to throw in, where he's like, he remembers all of a sudden that he saw the clown.
Yeah, that was probably
died.
Like added and was probably not planned from the beginning.
So. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the clowns being like this thing. It makes sense that they would infiltrate and Teiku and all these, and Aogiri Tree and all these places, because there's some sort of
they do their own.
They're the Joker baby. They're gonna watch the world burn.
I love this scene where the one-eyed owl finally shows up, like the 2 pages. Like Shinohara's face.
Yeah, Shinohara's like I took note of that, where he's just completely like dumbfounded. It's like a complete surprise, like open eyes, like
the face of the dog in the "This is fine" meme. That's what it reminds me.
Yeah, it was very much like when that because it's like a great reveal, because like it's not just like another owl showing up would be bad enough, but like this thing looks like no Ghoul we've seen before. Like like I said, Orphan of Kos, like there's this fucking alien monster appears instantly behind them after they're all like fucking wrecked, and it's just like, hey guys, fucking just throws them off buildings, and he's like, oh, fuck my life. That's a cute author. Yeah.
That's piloting this little thingy.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a really good drawing when she stepped out of it. The actual close-up of the face was a bit jank, but the one like that reminded me a lot of like Sino Uto, with like the weird like intestinal thing around her, like sort of like body horror thing when she like disconnected from this creature. It was very cool. Oh, we didn't mention Mado's daughter.
Yeah, Mado.
And
Takizawa.
Mado shows up a lot in like flashbacks here, and a lot of people are talking about things, and it turns out the owl killed Mado's wife. Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that like very early on, and you just forget about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember if they said it was owl, but I think I remember her being killed by a ghoul.
I mean, he says that that it was the one-eyed owl.
Okay, he does. Okay, that's fine. But that was cool. That scene where she tries to kiss Amon,
and he
puts his hand, and she's like, "How very like you." I was like, "Yeah." It would have been fine if they had kissed, but yeah, I understand why. I totally. She's right. That's totally
for Amon. Like if you don't kiss the girl, you get your arm chopped.
He should have been like Nishiki and been like, when else am I gonna get a chance to fuck this hottie? I might die. Oh well. I mean, it probably feels weird fucking his mentor's daughter.
I mean, probably. What was I about to say? Right, with Takizawa. This is also something I only like noticed on a. No, actually, I didn't notice. It was pointed out. Like someone pointed it out in like one of his final scenes. If you look at the close-up of his eye, you actually see Akira's face reflected in it. So that's basically the last thing he's thinking of.
That's nice. Go on.
I keep just noticing weird parallels with this in PunPun, and it's odd.
Yeah. I mean, they are not that dissimilar on the psychological level. Like, this will keep going for the rest of the story. That's one of the reasons why I like both of these stories, because they deal with some stuff, similar stuff in some regards.
Do you have more cool thoughts about Tokyo Ghoul?
I don't know if I have anything that helpful to say at this point.
But what did you...
I kind of pointed out the story things I like. I don't have a whole lot of detail beyond what you guys have said.
That's fine, just checking. Jaws must have something that we haven't said our opinions on yet.
Yeah.
I think I mostly also have only details, like pointing out more tarot cards. Like the super obvious one is Suzuya's hairpins, which are the number 13, which is death.
I think I did notice that they were the number, but I don't know I hadn't made the tarot association outside of that one thing I mentioned, and I don't really know the numbers of them by memory, of course. I guess 13 being Yeah, 13 being the death, and I think 0 is the fool, right?
0 is the fool.
Yeah.
1 is the magician, which we see.
Yeah, I remember some
head.
of them from like JoJo and stuff, and from a couple Taro decks I have, but I wouldn't just know like number 12 is the Hanged Man. I wouldn't remember. But that's cool. I mean, didn't they have something with tarot cards in the manga at some point? Like, didn't someone?
One chapter is named the Hanged Man.
I thought someone like might have broken out a tarot deck or mentioned like that they did readings or something. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. Okay.
No, it was that obvious. Okay, is there anything other interesting stuff to talk about? I mean, this is not like big of a reveal or something, but that Uta and Itori are part of the clowns.
Yeah. He all seemed kind of clown adjacent. Yeah.
Actually, this is actually stupid. We see them be part of the clowns in the flashback.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I was wondering like why wasn't I that surprised? I thought him like her, she was a surprise. But yeah, him not so much. So I was wondering why.
Yeah, I forgot that we actually saw that. Yeah, but we never think of them as like quote unquote evil or morally gray or something.
They seem to be more like pushing events slightly and being kind of like observers more than, but I guess they probably were pulling the strings the whole time if they're involved with Rize's thing. I don't know.
They've been mostly lying low the past, I guess, 10 years or so it is, since the time that we saw from the flashback. And now they say, maybe we get back into business and do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Funny business.
Yeah. Funny ones.
Then at the end, that was weird that the commander, like, Dove guy was very like, he just kept being kind of cryptic about how he had like plans for things and things going certain ways and things, and he seemed like very kind of up to something.
That's not
revealed yet.
Very obvious what that's about it.
Also, Susie trashing the guy's bike again was a great 2-page.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
He does it twice.
He does.
Did both of you see the final epilogue pages?
Yeah, I was just gonna get to that. Yes, I did.
I tried. I think I think I read the epilogue like 5 times because I kept being worried that I was going to read the wrong one because the first site didn't have it.
Yeah. The one Jaws mentioned on Manga Dex did, but I did find another source too that just on Tumblr just had like there's like a Reddit post that links to a Tumblr page that has the 3 final pages of the guy. When I was like adding this to my anime list, I just like wrote Tokyo Ghoul, and the image that appeared for like it was like a colored picture, like an anime picture, and the guy in the front, I didn't recognize him. I was like, who's that? And they had like kind of weird poofy hair with like a different color on the inside and on the outside. And I read the bonus 3 pages, and there he was. I was like, oh, it's that guy. There he is. He's the new assistant investigator, I guess. There, answered. Yeah.
This is like a little bit of a lead in to Tokyo Ghoul Re. And when I first read Tokyo Ghoul, the epilogue also wasn't there. And I'm not sure if it was only later included in the official volumes that were released, or if he always had this in his release. I don't know.
It literally says onwards to Re in the corner of the last, like the 2-page spread with the guy's face says like to Re in the corner. Like,
from what I remember, he only took like a month break between Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re, but I still don't know. If he had, like, as I said, I don't know if the official first releases had that. I guess they had, and my site was just missing it the first time I read it. But yeah, it helps like a little bit with.
Yeah, here on this. Yeah, the see the little. I mean, obviously this is fucking up, but see on the bottom left there. To Re.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the guy. He's cool. It's nice that everything to do with Akira is around the grave. That's just where she meets people, I guess. Yeah.
That's where she hangs out to meet people.
I actually thought it would have been really funny if she turned around and Kakashi was next to her.
And then Roy Mustang is there, and he's like, "It's raining." And he pulls his cap. Yeah, exactly.
They all press F at the same time.
Yeah.
They make white in Photoshop.
Okay. Enough of your foolishness. Maybe we should we talk about
we
PunPun?
should probably move on to PunPun now.
I'll say
Oh yeah, go on.
It's Jaws' birthday, so.
But he did say he didn't have anything to mention except for minor details, like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but it's his party. He can cry if he wants to.
Okay.
From my perspective, is like, okay, this is. That's like 10 minutes. That's what I got, and then you guys just like another 45 minutes of gushing. And it's like, oh, well, you guys really like this.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Well, it's you don't have to be sorry. It's the core concept. I was surprised you guys had so much to say about it.
I mean, for me, it's obvious that I can say a lot about it.
Yeah, because I was soy jacking the whole time. I was reading it. I had cool, appropriate music going. I was marveling at the artwork. My jaw was dropped at many points, and I was emotional. I was like, yeah, that was a really great manga reading experience. Like, it was like new because I didn't know any of it. It'll never happen again. That exact experience. Yeah. So yeah.
For me, it was so great when the first time I read it. Like, it is one of my absolute favorite reading experiences ever because I read it in 3 days.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I got to binge it, and that was just great.
I kind of wish I had read this when I was younger. Not that I didn't love it now, but if
I read it when I was like 21.
Oh, really? So. Okay, that's later than I expected. I was gonna say if I'd read this when I was 18, 19, it would have affected a lot of stuff in my life probably. But yes, very, very great. What's fucking... Because we do PunPun by volumes, I never know. Estimate around... 9 and 10. Volumes 9 and 10. I guess I'm going to say chapter 8. Okay, so a bit after this, chapter 90 then.
Yeah, I'll double check because it was right.
I think it's 90 to 110.
Yeah, I seem to be right. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one with the crazy... yeah, we got a lot more of
Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus, right. I always want to remember his real name. It's like Heihachi Shiroyama or some shit.
I actually call him Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Because good vibrations.
I get you.
I see. Okay.
Get it?
Yes, I do. I got you every time. Stop.
And the first stretch, like the first volume, this time around actually doesn't have that much content, I guess. Like, not that much happens in the first.
There was more setup stuff, kind of. Yeah, we got the. I didn't realize I spoke about the Aiko coming back, kind of thing, prematurely last time.
Yeah, but it's just at the beginning, so.
Yeah, it's at the very start. I mean, but that's funny though. I mentioned last podcast I did mention this fake smile thing. And it's funny.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just cover Aiko because it's my favorite part of this stretch. But when she shows up again, I immediately knew she was lying because of not just because of that, but also her smiles seem fake and forced. And I was like, but immediately as soon as they were when they were sitting at that cafe table talking about how well they were each doing, I was like, they're both full of shit. It's not just PunPun. I was like, this is a conversation between two fucking awful liars who were fucking stupid. I was like, yeah, no. And I was right.
I think I believed her the first time I read it. I think I believed her.
I'm not even saying this is an obvious thing. I'm just saying I totally knew and was very happy to be vindicated in that a few chapters later.
It's like how I had ESP with totally knowing what the uncle was up to from his first appearance.
Yeah, exactly. I had that with Aiko. I just looked at her and it was just I knew no. This ain't right.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for the fake smile thing because you mentioned it last time, and I totally noticed how fake her smile looked with PunPun.
Yeah, she does the really derpy one when she meets up with him and is like, "Hey, let's go, have some fun."
It's all crooked.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she has good reason not to smile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these two work together because, like, the first volume 9 is like the Sachi volume, and then volume 10 is like the Aiko one, where he's plainly setting it up as like, okay, these are the two faces of Eve. You know, this is the dichotomy of women, or at least the type of women that someone like PunPun would have a chance with in his life.
Yes. There's like a color spread of them like back to back in like white dresses, like smiling and holding hands. That? Well, it's just like that's like the vision of that's like the idea of like attractive women in PunPun's mind, I guess, or like this. There's like a lot of stuff like that where they're like, he's obviously like doing it like tongue in cheek, where he's almost acting like it's like a rom-com manga or like a fucking harem thing where it's like, all the girls being all cutesy. It's like they never even interact ever, and they're each other's like opposite and would hate each other, and each of them is trying to destroy the other's like chance for love.
I mean, I really like Sachi. I was feeling her bad behavior a little more than the first time.
Yeah.
I guess I was just a little more aware of it. She fucking gets some pretty good jabs in against PunPun that do not help the situation.
Yeah. And she does like fuck up and do bad stuff. Like
she does
during this part.
I think she's still like very like to a large degree fine.
I'm
like,
very weird because my experience of the headspace I was /am in was like the whole time I was reading the Sachi part, I was on PunPun's thing of being like, where is Aiko? And then when she showed up, I was like, yes, Aiko's here. Woohoo! I was like the smiley PunPun face is what I made it.
I've been waiting for the other shoe to drop on that this entire time, because like through the whole process of reading PunPun, you kept like doing the same rationalizations that PunPun does.
Yeah,
and like walking into the teeth of the conceit of the story.
He just really does think a lot like I do, and have like similar reactions. Like it's silly, and like as soon as I saw Aiko like the beginning, I was like, oh damn, she's cute. I like Aiko, and then that never changed for the rest of the manga. I never had a moment where I was like, yeah, like Sachi, she's the girl. I was always like, she's okay. She's no Aiko though. Yeah, she's all right. I think she's a great character. Don't get me wrong. Like from the point of like construction, art, and stuff. But I was never like even vaguely like, I hope he ends up with Sachi. I was like, no. He's meant to end up with Aiko. Come on, where is she?
Well, I mean that's the whole thing. Like Sachi. Sachi represents something that is, actually real and has potential to matter in the long run, and actually is good for him and will help him grow up. And then Aiko represents like the dream of what never actually could have been, but he used to believe it could have been, and now he can't let go of it.
Yeah.
Like, the vision of she's like the vision of perfection that, blots out the good things right in front of him. And I gotta say, reading I mean, this is always, you remember me like pining over the loss of like the early PunPun with the uncle leaving and all that.
Yes, I do.
And you guys being like, you're full of shit.
Just said he enjoyed it about as much. I like this part more because I just like feel very at one with him. I just read those chapters with like a weird like evil smile on my face. Yeah.
This part of PunPun is always just really hard for me to read because it's not.
Oh, it is
there's
hard
not
to
a whole
read.
lot of there's not a whole lot of redemption in it. It's just like a continual step downwards into like bullshit. Yeah. It's like Made in Abyss without the lollies.
Kind of. Yeah, it does make you wince.
I gotta say,
reading a lot of this. Yeah.
It was almost harder to read this part. Yeah, Jaws?
Yeah, like I said this to Green earlier, where you were gone, Michi. Like reading this part finally like got to me once again a little bit. Like where, like I remember when I read it the first time. Obviously, like the whole thing got to me.
Yeah.
But this time, this is like the first time where it was like, okay, yeah, this is getting to me a little bit.
It did shake me up the first time I read it. Like
the first time I read this, this part was definitely like hard, but it was a little more abstract. this time reading PunPun, once I got into like the final third, it's like, damn, PunPun is a manga about how I really need to kill myself.
Yeah, I know. I was like, God damn. It's like, well, it's like the author like knows thoughts and things about you that you didn't think anyone else knew. Kind of. I mean, he's not talking about you, but he like presents you with stuff where he's like, you know what I'm talking about, and I'm like, fuck, I do know, but how does he know I know? I thought only I knew that. Yeah.
How fucking weird is it that he draws himself arguing with Sachi about her shitty manga, where she's trying to do this like really artsy avant-garde, really real true to life manga, and he's like, Sachi is him. Like, Sachi is the actual author stand-in, but he puts himself in as the villain, trashing his own philosophy of life.
And that's such like an accurate. He perfectly captures like Sachi being like a full of herself, like artist in that way, where she's like not really. I'm not saying you should like be a carpet and just let people roll you over with like these criticisms and editors, and you should fight on the stuff. But it's like every point she just like makes like a kind of a smug face. It's like, what if I hung myself? Would that make the manga better? And the guy's like, that escalated quickly. Anyway, it's like,
I mean the hard thing,
cringe, like in a good way.
The hard thing too is like, he flatly says like, that fucking weird bird guy was holding you back. You're obviously way better on your own. And she kind of knows that's probably true as well. And then PunPun sees the manuscript and realizes it's true.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's another weird. That's another weird aspect of it. Like, PunPun, a lot of like fucking like drifting loser guys like go through a phase where they turn to making art as like the thing that might save them, and for most of them it doesn't really work out so well, but then for a few of them it kind of does. And PunPun is like hitting that reality of like, oh well, maybe I have some talent, but like I'm not good. I'm not good enough.
Or to get to the level where I was good enough, I would have to have started ages ago, or do this for way longer than I have. Yeah.
PunPun obviously just needs to spend like several years making like anime YouTube videos to own his skills, and then.
I don't think PunPun has ever watched an anime. He just like sits around, like
if he plays video games.
I think he likes hentai.
Does he, or does he just like porn? He likes just like likes normal human porn, I think.
No, that one, but they go into an otaku store where it has like a bunch of hentai stuff up. I think he occasionally watches hentai.
That's true. He did
watching
read
hentai
that one
but
about
not anime is like ascended.
That's true. I've heard like people like even like there are lots of like more normal people that they do just like hentai and not like anime and manga. They'll be like, oh, I don't really like anything about Japan, but I do sometimes jerk off to hentai. It's not that strange of a thought, actually. Yeah.
I mean, I've totally ran into that. Like part of the otaku thing that weirds normies out, where it's this sneaks up on them, where they're like, oh, okay, you draw these sexy, you have these sexy drawings and you think they're hot. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. It's kind of pathetic, but like, I have pinups of cars. Then they learn that the otaku are actually like deeply emotionally invested in the characters that are the pinup, and they're like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, oh, you actually care about this. Holy shit. I gotta, man, Pegasus is where I will say I'm getting, it's the same thing every time. It's like every time the Funky Bunch shows up, I get exhausted. I'm like, God damn it, why are we dealing with these people again? But then it's just
in this section than it has been before.
That's true. But the thing about them is every now and again they show up and they're like this backboard that one of the main characters can like do a layup off of. And it's really good, but it's still exhausting to like. There's a lot of attention and emotion that goes into keeping them in our minds, and they have to keep reminding us that this is there. Yeah. It's just a lot for how often they actually do something cool.
It's not just that they like take you out of the PunPun thing, which is like my main investment, obviously, but it's also like their sections tend to be extremely wordy because they're talking. Like Pegasus just like talks in these huge run-on sentences, or there's like that entire chapter that's just like him at the TV, TV interview, and it's just like, okay, it's just like cool, I get that, but like it's not that this is by any means bad, but it's just that the PunPun stuff is so good. I am irked whenever I'm not in the PunPun thing. Like even when they cut away to the two idiots who are kind of related to the cult.
And Shimizu.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. I'm just like, that's cool, but whenever PunPun is not on screen, the audience should be saying, "Where is PunPun?" Because I want to see, like, to me, this is like the story of PunPun, and I want almost everything to be from his point of view, except bar the occasional flashback to the uncle or the scene with the mom at the hospital, like his family at least. But whatever. It's like a minor. It's like a tiny dent in a perfect mirror. But
yeah, it's still a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. Yeah, these are not. Yeah, but if I had to name like what is my least favorite part or aspect of PunPun, it's like that, just because I don't like it as much. Yeah. Man, the guy's girlfriend looks like the Dead Demons girl, like but older, which is funny. She's.
Oh yeah, I did.
That's very like Steins Gate, like the way that they act. I don't know. It reminded me of like silly, like and stuff like that. And she's like falling over on her stupid face. And it is sad seeing PunPun retreat from the group. And they're like talking about like going on, because it happened with him way back in high school. We're talking about going on the school trip and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you're coming too, PunPun." He's like, "I'm gonna go jerk off at home instead." And now they're talking about going on a trip again, and they're all like good friends with each other. Yeah, these people who met through him are closer friends now than they are with him, which is so like realistic. It's sad.
Yes. It's the one chapter which is just a summary of PunPun's day. That one hits very hard, and there's also the scene where he overhears like his co-workers who like both pity him but also don't like him, which is like the worst combination that can
be. It's so bad, him working at the convenience store, and then he just gets home and jerks off. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, this is the chapter, or this is the section where
that's before he breaks and turns into Takashi.
Oh god, that we still have to like get into that.
But first, you're gonna talk about the landlord getting fucking
the landlord.
Stomped.
It was
Jesus,
fucked
that
up
sucks.
too because in my head I was going like, I don't remember when he gets beaten up. I wonder when that's coming. And then it was like the next page, like god damn it. Yeah, it's sad. Oh, I fucking teared up a little bit. I forgot that he leans in and tells Sachi to like forgive people and not be mad about this. It's like god damn it.
And that stuff just like happens in real life, especially in like China and Japan. Like that really does. Just like they have like a big culture of like normally well-meaning passers-by just like jumping people and like like old people. Like there was like one where it was like a lady was like pickpocketed, like took the wallet from this old man, and he grabbed her wrist and was like, "Hey, you're taking my wallet," like in a supermarket. And she was like, "Help, he's like accosting me," and someone like tackled him and killed him. And she just like ran off with the wallet, and she's like the mystery woman of, I don't know, Fukushima or some shit. And it's like there are many cases like that. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's
and the woman who does it, the woman who like fucks with him with like the weird like turned eye, she, if it didn't happen in this segment, it happens like right afterwards. She gets like hit in the head with a hammer by Pegasus later. Like he tries to like murder her in her house. Remember?
This happens like I guess in the next volume.
Yeah, but it's the same woman.
The Marky Mark just keep stacking up.
But I'm just saying, like, it is interesting that it's like the same woman, because she's like a crazy cult bitch who's like, he's attacking me, and then later she has like a heroic moment where she tells her daughter to run off, so she doesn't get murdered by Pegasus. So it's like,
I mean,
all
it's
these
just
cult
like
people suck shit.
The landlord is good because it's just old man wisdom. It's just like someone who's been through it all, and he's just like, I'm gonna just do the best I can for people younger than me, and we're just gonna. Life is hard, but we'll try to get through it. Like his head looks so much like
his head, especially here. Like when you see it from the back, he's just
his head
spurting.
has kind of like a derpy, curvy look sometimes.
And then he has like, and his like double triple chin kind of looks like a folded back foreskin or something. It's weird. And then he spews from his head when he pukes all over the floor. Perfect.
Yeah, and he is trying to resolve a petty
he doesn't
argument
do anything to make it
happens.
worse. Yeah, but it still happens nonetheless. Yeah.
That's
awful.
PunPun's transformation into Takashi was his name.
Takashi, yeah. What a glorious moment.
I mean, it's the fruition of everything PunPun has done, because PunPun, like, he doesn't stick up for himself. His reaction to everything is to shrink and to like not exist in the space.
Yeah.
And so eventually he just feels so hollow that it's like, oh, there's nothing inside of me that matters, that I care about. I'll just become this guy who has a better life than me.
It's so fucked up too, because it does. Like, that's what, well, because he's right though. It's like being like that kind of person does work, but he's not that kind of, like,
Yeah, but it doesn't make you happy.
No, exactly. Of course not. Like, and it's like, he's been listening to this couple fuck for like a year and jerking off at it. Then he comes out, and instead, it's not just like a thing of like, oh, they're jerks, so I don't feel bad. It's like Takashi's like super friendly to him, and is like, hey man, do you need something? And his girlfriend's like weirded out by this. She's like, don't talk to that guy. He's weird. I think he jerks off to us. and then he's like, I know. I'll assume his identity. and he's like, got the dumbest fucking smile on his face during those whole chapters. So fucking fucked up.
Also, completely true that hearing people have sex through the wall is just like one of the weirdest, somewhat arousing things that can ever happen to you.
And it's of course it's like perfect karma that like as soon as he does it, it's when Aiko shows up, and he has to have that awkward moment where he's like lying about his name and acting like he kind of doesn't half remember her. And then one of my favorite scenes is like when he's at the apartment of that girl he picks up. And it's like the worst, it's like the like ickiest, most awkward thing, because he's got that like plastered stupid smile on his face. She's already like telling him like not to do loads of things, which is funny. Like he tries to smoke, she's like, nah, and he's like tries to get handsy, he's like, no. She's like putting all these already like, we're in a relationship, here's all the ground rules. I can't let's meet each other's friends and stuff. They like met each other like this week and fucked.
And he just like introduce him to her parents, doesn't he?
Yeah,
like it's
I think so. Yeah. And then he just like punches the wall. Then she's like, huh? And he's like, I saw a tarantula. And then he gets dressed and runs out. And
it gets things weirder. He keeps like smoothing the wall, and this is so weird. And
that's right.
Yeah, he's like, yes, the wall is made of wall.
Yeah, he's like, this is good craftsmanship. It's like.
And then he just walks on without a word.
That's so funny. And then he just like mopes around like a like road tunnel. And his head turns into eyes, and he just like he's like posing for like album covers, and he just sits around and is like, what am I doing? Is this me? Looks in the mirror. Oh God, look what I look like. And he just like moment was so fucking affecting to me, where I was like, oh my God, what the fuck?
I mean,
that's
like
so
PunPun
real.
has. I mean, even without really being conscious of it. Oh yeah, that meditation back hitting thing, remember that? But without even being conscious of it, PunPun has become, he is a predator now. Like PunPun is putting on like a completely fake, image of who he is so that he can trick women into having sex with him. And then he's like depriving them of everything that they would, rationally want to come with that. Like, like almost in like one move. Like PunPun has been a fucking creepy loser for many years now, but then like in one moment he actually become like, oh, I'm an actual like lurking fiend waiting to take advantage of the weak.
This isn't how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and he did it without actually being all that conscious of it. I mean, I mean, he was weirdly conscious of how fake he was being. I don't think he realized like, oh, I'm a fundamentally different type of person now.
It's also fucked up because he's like kind of cheating on Sachi, even though neither of them really wants to ever acknowledge that. But they essentially like break up.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, without realizing that they were even kind of in a real relationship, which is stupid. I didn't notice in this panel, but the shadow looks like it has the horns that he gets later. Maybe that's foreshadowing. Literal shadowing on the wall. Yeah, but
I'm glad we don't have bird man body PunPun for too long.
Yeah, he looks very strange. Yeah, like the like I don't know why none of the pages are showing up, but his like stupid smiling face that he makes in this form is really funny. Where he just has this like silly like plastered like a sideways V here on his head the whole time, and it's like I love these are my two like. From just like a visual standpoint, it's like the eye form, the horn form, and then the horn form with a big hole in it or the square in it are like.
I mean, a clever way of looking at that is like I mean, his family are always birds, but you can look at how PunPun changes as like the bird in the man body looks jank because on some level it's like, oh, PunPun is just a literal man child now, like he is a boy in a man's body.
Even the eye thing, I'm not going to find it here, but the page before he turns into this form is this form, like the bird head form, but he sprouts one like sideways eye in the middle of his head instead of the two eyes, and that's like when he sees what is happening, literally, like he looks at the girl he just fucked and sees her with that eye, and then he becomes all eyes and looks at himself in the mirror in the road, and he's like, and then it's so funny when he shows up with Aiko for their date, he shows up in that form, then he reverts to the stupid bird form, and he's like being funny, and then she's like, haha, was I really that crazy? And then he's like, haha, she says, it's no laughing matter, like in the translation I had, where he's just like switching back between extremely fake Takashi wannabe and like I see exactly how evil I am, like Doomer fucking PunPun, like at the drop of a hat, and he has that he has the eye form when he like assaults her on the bed. Oh god. It's all oh boy, like I love you, Takashi.
This just like hurts more and more because it's like there's not even words for, like, we don't really have good tropes and like words for describing these feelings, but we all know what they are. Like, it's like this is like fucking Dostoevsky shit.
Terrible. It's terrible because like because like I already had the feeling she was lying, so I was like, oh, he is like, she's like this vulnerable like extremely like mentally unstable girl who obviously has like self-hate issues and stuff, and he like is like being super pushy and like taking advantage of like every like small like nicety of hers to take it further and further. He like holds her hand and asks, and then she's like, you're already holding it, and then he's like, we're taking her around everywhere, and then he's like, let's go to a fucking motel, and she's like she doesn't have the strength to say no. I mean, she does eventually, but it's just because he's being such a fucking. If he had been like more like, if he had been more Takashi-like in that scene, maybe, and been like nicer and friendlier, she might have even gone all the way with him because she has such low self-esteem.
But I mean, but part of the whole thing there is he sees Aiko as the person that like he like has actual real emotions for, like,
and he's like this is the fake Aiko. Yeah, he's like.
He wants to be able to just give Aiko his raw what he actually feels and have her like reciprocate, and like he feels like he can't have that with like anyone else.
He's also kind of like getting like weird, almost like revenge on her in that scene.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Well, he basically says that. He says that very.
Does he say that? Okay.
He says, "I want to make you miserable."
Yeah, right, exactly. But he's like, it's like all a mix of things, like a mix of him thinking that she. Like the way he is, and him thinking that she has. Each of them thinks the other one has like an amazing life, because they're both such big idiots, and they're like. And so he's like, how dare you leave me behind and become a supermodel and have a boyfriend? Like,
It's
It's like bile in your throat. Like,
and the part of the problem is, like, I mentioned suicide earlier. It's so hard to imagine a solution to this, because like PunPun's whole thing is like almost unfixable. Because like really what PunPun wants, like really what PunPun wants is, he wants the fulfillment of that feeling when he was a kid, of like, for a brief moment he believed someone actually like loved the real him and like cared about him and would accept him totally. And he can't let go of that. And even when he finds people who could, accept him a fair amount for what a fucking asshole he is, like, he can't let go of like that feeling of being able to dissolve in like Aiko's love that he had for a moment when he was a little kid. And it's like sad. Like, you just kind of look at it, goes like, man, it'd be cool if like everyone just got hit by a car on the next page and we didn't have to think about this ever again.
I bring this up occasionally, but I do think of that Circle Takes a Square lyric from where they says, "I'll have to sink my teeth in someone else's heart to heal my own." Like, that's what he was doing, was being like, oh yeah, I'll make you miserable to fix my thing. Yeah, and it's like
it manages to actually slip into genuine horror.
Yeah.
Like Sanderson likes to bring up this distinction. Like, remember like the difference between horror and like just slasher or violence. Like horror.
Stephen King has a lot of these definitions, doesn't he? Where it's like going to your house and seeing everything's been replaced with an identical copy or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the weird mix of like attraction and wanting to care about something, and being like seeing it be corrupted and like turned towards horrible, like horror is horrible. Look at that.
Well, I know what you mean. Like, and there's a lot of that like male, like kind of wanting to sully or destroy something pure as part of like possessiveness. It's the love. It's the love of a childhood crush between two like kind of sad kids. Yeah. Like being like ramped up with like male sexuality and angst and violence into like something like legitimately fucking terrifying. It's like he's legitimately objectifying her, but it's not just your simple objectification. It's like she has been an object of worship for him for like his entire life. Like they have had after that childhood bit, they had so relatively few little moments since then. That it's been
7 years or so since the last talk.
Exactly. But it's like for so many years of his life, in his head, exactly, she has become like this fucking weird idea, and he's like, I'm gonna fuck this idea now. Thankfully.
There's a quote. It's another scary thing. There's a famous quote, I don't remember what from, where it says, fetish is when the symbol of something replaces the real thing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And like that's also kind of what's going on here. It's this is just not good for anyone. But like, maybe the only way for PunPun to actually heal from this, I mean, he's not getting over this. Like, he's not actually getting over this ever.
What? Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with him and Sachi, where both of them are broken people, but Sachi's like the kitsurigi or whatever it's called. Like, she's where you smash the pot and you glue it back together.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's never actually going to be as good as it was the first time. Like, if you actually go through something in life where you're just emotionally shattered, I mean, the sad reality is you will never, ever, ever, ever be as like emotionally whole and functional as someone who just like had a good life and was okay. Like that's just like kind of carved in stone at that point. But you can get to the point where you're pretty good most of the time and you're mostly okay. And like a couple times a year, you have like a weird fugue state where you like, I don't know, you fuck your ex and get pregnant and use that as like emotional blackmail. Like you do fucking creepy, like inhuman, like sicko shit like a couple times a year. But most of the time, you can be mostly fine. And that's where Sashi is. PunPun is not there. Like PunPun is just broken, and like the best he could hope for is to become like Sachi or like the uncle even many years from now, where he can just like he just has to barely hold himself together until his like soul bones fuse together just enough that he can let go for a moment without breaking.
But he can't function as a person.
But he can't like move too quickly, or then he will just break.
It really feels like we're adults now, doesn't it?
I agree with what you said, but I'm actually you on the Kintsugi thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be more beautiful than
it's
better
supposed to be more beautiful after
the
people
original.
actually.
I thought about that too.
Well, it is beautiful.
Purpose.
Like broken people often have beautiful, compelling lives from the outside. It still sucks to be one. Like PunPun is a beautiful person in the sense that he's like a really compelling portrait of a human. We would not want to know him.
That's true. Also, Green is right in that it's never literally as beautiful as the original, because it's never the same. Like that's more of it too. It's like you can, like Sachi can't heal him to be like the person he was before, but she can make him something which could be just good in a different way, like the Kitsugi thing. It's also fucked up how he almost like has an out of it, because after he like admits everything, comes clean to Aiko, he expects her to be like, you lied to me, and he's like, yeah, well, at least I was honest. I get to keep this like shred of my decency and come clean and just like, you'll probably never want to see me again in your life. Bye. But instead, he's like hopelessly ensnared, because she also has been waiting for him. And actually remembered all the things, and her life sucks too. And that's like, well, that's like, it's nice of her to be honest, but that just fucking took away the last like shred of light that there was any salvation for PunPun. That was just like, that was like he grabbed onto like the edge of the rocks when he was in the water, and then he got grabbed by the ankles and pulled like to the depths when that happened. He's like, oh my god, I mean, everything I had hoped for is true. Hooray!
You could, I mean, I think it's at least top like 4 quotes, but one of my favorite quotes, as I've said, is, Truman Capote, more tears are shed for answered prayers than unanswered ones.
Exactly. This is what you wanted, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that,
next time you lie to me, I'll kill you.
That's like fucking when Chinese people say, may you live in interesting times. It's like a really good curse is like, may all your dreams come true.
Yes.
And also it's like both of them. This is a thing too. Like this is something that like people who have like been like in abusive situations like have with each other. I don't know why I'm getting weird about it, but this is like people who have like been in like really fucking like dark psychological places and kind of muddled through. They also have like this weird ESP with each other where they can just like understand parts of each other's life in a way that you can't if you don't, like if you haven't been there before. And that's like where codependency comes from, because it's like you have, I've had a lot of shit metaphors lately. I wonder why that is. But it's like being like a fucked up broken person and going through normal life. Like it's like slightly holding in a shit like your entire waking life. And then
aspiring
like,
writer
and then Aiko is like he like suddenly finds a toilet in the middle of the street, and it's
stop.
Okay, I'll stop. You understand what I mean, right?
I wish I didn't, but yeah.
It's like they're the only there's gonna be this like. There's gonna be this feeling like he's holding back with basically everyone. It's like the Maraca thing a while ago, where they were doing the Maraca karaoke thing, where PunPun had the long hair, and he's and like he's like kind of having fun with people, but he's also just like, I can't.
When he realizes how he related nothing to those people and he felt nothing like them.
Like he just can't be on the same emotional wavelength as them. So there's like trying makes him more lonely. And if PunPun was like honest about what he actually like thought and felt, like either one, he would become like really funny. He'd be like the guy that makes like edgy jokes in a group, and he'd be really cool, and he'd probably get laid. He should have done that. Or
he did.
more realistically, or more realistically, everyone would just like look at him like, okay, that's a lot to unpack there, PunPun. Maybe you should see a psychologist, and they would just gradually like stop inviting him to things.
Yeah.
Or they would invite him more, but he would know they were trying to be nice, and it would be weirder.
During that moment, he feels what like most people who have a nice life, I assume, who have like a normal life. I mean, don't never have felt, which is like he feels completely alone in a group of people. Like he's like in a social situation, but he feels just as alone as he always does. Basically, doesn't matter how much they try to include him or talk to him. He just feels completely isolated, like he's in a different slice of the same space, and they can't actually interact.
Like his emotional reactions and theirs are just fundamentally out of sync.
It's like they might as well be holograms for each other.
Like they're not actually communicating. They're like speaking different languages slightly past each other the whole time. And like Aiko speaks the same language as him. Like they actually understand each other's feelings. Those feelings are just horrible, and they should bury them deep down inside.
They have a lot of common ground. All their parents suck collectively. They live terrible lives with terrible jobs.
By her mother, who can't even use her legs, or
can she? Wink, wink.
Luckily, I don't have that issue. I have a great relationship with all of my
legs. Oh, okay.
Well, I have a great relationship with my parents, all 5 of them. Anyway, back to PunPun. This is getting too real. Why did I put this up? Why did I make us read this?
You are a fool.
I am.
I wanted to. I want to finish the Aiko stuff, but I wanted to go back just for the Sachi thing because I want to keep it somewhat chapter-ish. I just wanted to talk about how it's messed up that she fucks her ex, but how amazing is the scene when he goes into her apartment, puts her panties on his head, and then the ex walks in and it's like, who are you? And then it's like fucking like that's such a good scene too, where it's like that also makes me like wince so fucking hard because he's just like. Because the guy's just like lampooning me and it sucks. And he's like talking about how he just like takes fucking PunPun to task. And Sachi's like standing up for him, and he's like, "Yeah, you too. That's your problem. You stand up for losers because it makes you feel better." And then like this entire scene of pointing out all the problems, and as a reader, I'm like, "God damn it! No, I hate this guy, but he's right. Like everything he's saying is true. He is objectively correct, and I hate him." He's like Masumune in Muramasa. Like, I know everything he's saying is technically correct, but I hate you, and I wish you would die. And then PunPun has the same reaction where he just is quiet, and then at the end he's like, "You're just incompatible with me. Like, we're just different kinds of people."
He just and that's, I mean, good for PunPun for at least acknowledging it. Is like
at least he understands that much.
PunPun doesn't try to pathetically pretend that the guy's lying or something. It's like, dude, everything you're saying is legitimate. We just have like different values. I mean, there are multiple people like that in this chapter. I mean, Takashi is kind of one of them as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's something you run into, like the person who is infuriating because like they're like a mean, like judgmental piece of shit, but they also never ever make mistakes, so they get away with it.
He has no weaknesses, as she says. Like he has no apparent flaws that aren't personality based anyway.
People who are like perfectly in sync with the society around them, and people who their only flaw, and you can't even hate them for being bad people because they're really not bad people. The only thing about them that like their only real flaw is they only understand their own perspective and they don't realize how limited it is. Like that's all you have on them.
This guy is kind of similar to the guy in first of all, before that, put a little pin in that thought. First, I was going to say he's like the 4chan meme of how do you respond without sounding angry. Okay, I got that out of the way. Now back to the pin. He reminded me of way back when they were in the middle school badminton tournament. That guy who like goes who goes like crazy and he's being like, oh, life is about like winners and losers and like you have to do your best or else you end up being the dregs of society.
It'd be funny if it was the same guy. I know it's not.
Yeah,
but...
it would be funny if it was, but it's also interesting that, like, yeah, the successful people always kind of like act like that toward PunPun.
It's actually funny that Komatsu gets mentioned in this part of the story.
Doesn't he show up in the flashback when they're punching each other as little kids? Yeah.
I don't know if that's Komatsu.
I thought it was him.
What I mean is when the two former classmates of Seki run into him, and one of them says like something about how Komatsu like was missing Seki like on a reunion or something like that.
Okay.
So it's interesting that he was actually mentioned.
This is a good image.
I mean, and also they got into the whole thing where the two former classmates, like, one saved the other but didn't save the mother, and
and the other guy
crashed.
And it turns out the other guy's like god thing psychosis is basically him like in denial. That whole time, his mom, we've seen her as like a waving hand when he's leaving. It's just been him being fucking crazy. And he joins the crazy cult because he's nuts.
The fucking so much is going on. Oh yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah,
is coming back. The
uncle shows up briefly at the end, and he says, "My war wounds are aching." And his pregnant wife is like, "What wounds?"
I do shit like that all the fucking time.
I know you do.
I know I shouldn't. Like maybe I shouldn't even fucking
he's
say
number
anything.
one in the USA. So he's got number one strongest in the USA. Yeah, the uncle is really like detached himself from reality to such an extent that it's like that's what makes like the rooftop scene so interesting.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't think he's like completely out of it, but it's just like his kind of. I think inside he's having all his normal thoughts, but the way he reacts to people a lot, like when he doesn't want to deal with most of them, is just like say something kind of inane and weird, and just like make people like back off. Yeah, like when he gets like we know he's not like that for real because he gets honest with PunPun and takes him onto the roof and talks like a normal person. I'm sure he has. I hope he has moments like that with his wife. But yeah, for everyone else, he just like is this guy just like standing around, like trying to look cool with sunglasses and smoking, and then says something cryptic.
Not trying.
He's succeeding. Yeah.
He's
super succeeding.
He said the rain reminded him. What day was it raining? I forget.
There was that entire arc
that day, but I'm not sure.
It was raining the whole time when like PunPun's mom is dying.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's with the taxi. The taxi, no, it wasn't raining. It was like that whole like arc when PunPun runs onto the streets. It was raining when he had that date and then he jerked off in the middle of nowhere, or when he ran and became a triangle. Like that was like there was like a lot of rain.
It was also raining like with the when the girl came to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
That's right.
No, that's it. That's the right one. Because that's why she came in.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she was all wet. Yeah.
I mean, that's not the real reason she came in, but we all.
Sachi sucks. Anyway, look, this is the same shot as when they were in bed at the school infirmary. They do it again, but in his house.
Oh,
isn't that cute?
Oh yeah. Well,
and she says the same line to him. She says, "I love you, then I love you too, because like I like you because you like me," essentially. Which is funny.
Cool.
And the we need to get to the elephant in the room.
We'll get elephant later. We need to talk about like semen for a moment. This is a very semen centric. This is a very semen centric. Let's talk about ejaculate then. Okay. It's a very semen centered chapter because the whole Sachi's whole subplot is like partially, I mean not really, but partially because PunPun is neglecting her.
Yeah.
She does it with her ex, and PunPun even asked her to her face. I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious what the answer is. It was like, wow, you did it raw, which I guess that implies that
he thought they had a condom and it had burst.
Yeah, but it's like okay, having raw sex and like the intimacy and risks that carries, like that got thrown in PunPun's face, and then later he comes on Aiko's chest.
Yeah, you coward.
Where she actually says, "Come in me."
Yeah,
and it's this moment again of like them have. it's not facing like reality. It's like PunPun could do like the truly adult thing and like risk pregnancy, but also do something that, you know, like actually solidifies his relationship with Aiko as something committed and adult and serious. Sure. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna come on your chest.
Well, it's messed up from her point of view too, that she like almost seems to want to get pregnant just to like to secure him, kind of. And it's like the worst. Yeah, it's like the worst time to ask for him to come in her. It's like her first time having sex. It looks pretty painful, and immediately she's like, "Come inside me," and then she calls him a coward, and she's bleeding so much. Like, holy shit, that was not an easy virginity loss. Like, it sucks. Yeah, that was very uncomfortable. Yeah. That's like the most uncomfortable way I was gonna say for both of them to lose their virginity, but I guess technically not. But
yeah, luckily PunPun was raped. So.
Well, that was the first. Yeah, well, that was his first time performing sex anyway, so it's like kind of awkward. But I mean, at least he got to have his dream of.
He's actually before.
Oh, that's right. I'm stupid. And with that girl, I'm a moron. I'm a.
Oh yeah,
I'm a dipshit.
Yeah, you are just fucking. I'm
just feeding off. Sorry, ignore everything.
Is this what it's like to talk to me all the time?
Well, okay, here's my hastily put together defense though. But yes, this is the only time he actually first had sex, because this is the only girl he ever cared about having sex with. So since the beginning, he's been like, I want to have sex with her since he was a little kid. He was like, I want to hold hands with her and then have sex with her, and he got to take her virginity. So hey, this maybe is the only one he'll remember. Yeah. Yes. That was messed up. Also, it's messed up that she's like all injured and shit. Like the first time they bang, she's like fucking
so beat up.
Yeah, it's not just that she's like body bruised. Like that would be something where it's like, oh, she might have looked like normal outside and they had gotten like intimate and then started undressing and he noticed. It's like, no, she comes to his house with like a swollen eye, like someone kicked the shit out of her, and he pulls her shirt off, like gets her tits out, and it's like, I want to fuck. So it's like, there's no tact from PunPun.
When they leave in the taxi, like I'm just wondering what the taxi driver is thinking.
Yeah, I know. It's like this. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
taxi drivers are just the hero of this story.
Poor taxi drivers to deal with so much shit. Inyo Asano has a lot of respect for taxi drivers, apparently.
It looks like it.
I mean, Tokyo taxi drivers, they probably do see like a bunch of fucking weird shit in their lives.
I would imagine so. The scene where their mom is fucked up, obviously. I mean, it's messed up thinking that this is like the same woman that came to their door that long time ago, and the uncle shouted, "There is no God." And I think he was right in regards to Aiko.
That's another. Oh, okay. I'll save that thought for later. PunPun has this strange fucking. Like the strangeness with PunPun is he has no nuance. Like he hasn't been like properly socialized. He has like these two poles. He has like the innocent little child that like wants the girly from his class to tell him he's a sweet boy and touch his head.
He wants to cower away inside of his covers and for Sachi to come coax him out of his hole. Yeah. And
then the other side is like this like hyper adult predatory like has to come in everything that moves and just like and has no scruples whatsoever. The whole middle of him has just kind of fallen out or not really developed. Like partially because he just has like never had like a good. Like he hasn't ever had like a good social situation with like a give and take. Well, one moment. Like he hasn't like had a social situation where he like has to like negotiate space and like go back and forth and play and like you learn how to like hurt people's feelings without ruining the relationship and you learn how to assert yourself without starting to fight. Like that whole middle ground that you like gain through your teenage years and like you use when you're an adult. PunPun just like doesn't have that. He either has like shrieking semen baboon or like shrinking little kid. Like he doesn't have a middle.
Well, he was never raised. All the adults in his life, especially the ones who like raised him, were all like incredibly damaged people. Like his mom and his uncle and his dad are all like like fucked up in many different ways, and their interactions with each other are always messed up, so you never really learned what like a lot of those normal interactions are supposed to be like, you know.
Yeah, like he never. Yeah, everyone in Pun. Maybe this is partially everyone in the story is weird, and partially like maybe a Japanese thing.
Yeah, specifically the adults who raised him.
Yeah, there's not a lot of give and take in any of the relationships he sees when he's young. It's either like totally dominating or just totally pulling back. Like the mother just like does nothing, but then she goes on a shrieking rampage. The dad does nothing, and then he bashes the mother over the head with a. I mean, the burglar did that.
And then he never contacts his son.
Yeah,
like
everyone's like it's either like pure confrontation or just like avoidance. Man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
The uncle has his fucking insane baggage to deal with. Like,
you feel like PunPun makes you feel bad about things you should be working on?
No, not at all. No, PunPun would never make me feel bad. But yes, it's all the things you said. Sucks.
Yeah, it sounds like you were having a thought there before I bowled you up.
I was. Now I'm trying to remember exactly what it was.
Okay, I bet Jaws has something in the interim.
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of is pretty much like the conclusion to this volume, or like it's not an ultimatum.
Sachi cry.
But Sachi cries at the end. Just the thing with the abortion clinic, where she at first wants PunPun to be there, and then she basically gives him the choice to be there, but PunPun also like his view on it is basically, even when she tells him that he does not have a choice now, even though she just gave him the choice, and then we just have to repeat from pretty much PunPun's childhood, where he drives by in a taxi, and we see the parallels from the earlier Aiko stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The devil shows up at the end. Like PunPun has become the devil.
Yeah. The very last panel is the very last page.
Ironically, PunPun's like final moment of becoming evil happens when he's trying to do like the one responsible thing he's done in like 5 years. Being like, well, we should have a conversation and let everyone know what's up. Be mature about it. It's like, God, shut up, PunPun. You can't do that.
Also, not too actually, because I see it as a devil too, and I do feel like that was still part of it. But I remember Jaws sharing something where Asano said it's actually bull horns.
Oh, yeah, right.
In the interview, it's like
bulls themselves are very aggressive, but you could also view these being literally bullish, like pig-headed kind of.
Somehow tied to the Samba triangle thingy, and it's like representing the love triangle between the three people. That's what's in the interview.
He may just also be slightly bullshitting in the interview. Like, he seems like the type. And he also probably thought it looked like devil horns too, and that's also perfectly appropriate. Like, he's not blind.
He also drew him solid black here, and he's ominously in the background. Like, come on.
It looks like a lot. I mean, if it's a love triangle thing, that doesn't really make that much sense that it would like that it appears in the parts where it does appear, because it stays for way longer than Sachi is like that relevant. Yeah.
I mean, Sachi, the way she handles the abortion thing is also so fucking weird. Know what keeps happening in this chapter? PunPun keeps being given opportunities for like decisive action with women that are not necessarily like morally good, but will at least like jumpstart like a serious relationship and give him responsibility for what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Where it's like with Aiko, it's like, if he just fucking comes in Aiko and is like, hell yeah, I feel you're my woman now. That's not necessarily going to end well, but it's at least him taking initiative and like ownership of her, I guess. And then with Sachi, she's like, hey, you know what? partially out of my resentment and loneliness at you, I slept with the much better man than you, who you know is better than you, and I got pregnant with his like much better seed. But I'm offering you the chance to murder my baby and establish yourself as like the patriarch of my feminine life. And it's like, that's also deeply fucked up to do. But if he did that, like, I mean, murdering a baby to like secure a woman, like that's initiative.
I mean, she may just get the abortion on her own anyway without PunPun's help, but we don't know. But this is funny that PunPun listens to Kid A. It is appropriate.
but it's weird how there's this counterpart, because in both of those situations, the woman is using PunPun to do something really self-destructive, but also giving PunPun like the opportunity for agency and making decisions, which that's odd. That's odd it's like this.
You're right.
There's a weird asymmetry there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I'm
man.
good.
Is there anything else to say?
I'm not really. I hope PunPun doesn't lie to Aiko again, because then she'll really have to kill him.
Yeah.
It should be fine.
Life is hard. We're gonna end
life.
We're gonna end this series with like reenacting that episode of Paranoia Agent.
Which one?
We're never
the Suicide Club episode.
We're never gonna end this series, because each time a manga ends like this time, then we'll insert another manga forever and ever and ever until all mangas are read. Yeah, for 40 more seasons.
I'm shocked at how long we talked.
Yeah, we went for a long time, but it was
given that we talked like both long about Tokyo Ghoul and
not a whole lot on Soul Eater, weirdly enough. But you guys
it was very short amount. Yeah, it was a very short amount. It was like a volume and a half, a tiny volume and a half.
Good vibration.
Next time it'll be all Soul Eater. Yes, next time we finish Soul Eater and we start Tokyo Ghoul Re.
Woohoo! Re.
Okay,
well let's end this.